Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. I do hope that you're well. Today is around about the 13th of September, I think, something like that. This is a bit of a personal update, but equally, I think some of the themes that I'm going to be discussing in this video, probably many of you might be also feeling, because we're all tapped into the same collective consciousness, aren't we? It's linked into this thorny issue of social media and how we navigate it at a time when, at a time of mass awakening. Now, you might not feel as though it's a time of mass awakening. You might have been on your path for a long time, and you might be feeling as though, when are people going to wake up? But the truth is that many people are starting to question, starting to find things for the first time, books, research, ideas, linked into all sorts of things, really. Now, some of us might have been delving into those books and ideas and concepts decades ago, but it's not a race. It's very much just a circular course and a circular path that we're all on. And it doesn't really matter whenever anybody finds new ideas and theories and, you know, wakes up to deeper truths about themselves, about the universe. What matters is that we're respectful to each other as we are all on different parts of the path and the journey. I think the very difficult thing at the moment in terms of navigating social media, though, is it's becoming very apparent that there are people at very different stages, and it's how do we deal with that? I'm likening it to being at a school, because I believe we are all actually at Earth School. We're all here because we came, because we wanted to experience various things, work out karma, hopefully give to humanity. We all had different soul contracts, things that we were meant to be doing, experiencing, etc. So we all came here to learn, but very much like a school. I mean, I know this is slightly controversial because some of the newer forms of schooling put different age groups together in the same classroom, and sometimes that can work, sometimes it really can't. But right now it's as though we've got a real mixture of people who have either just discovered things, just woken up, and people that have been on their path a long time. Of the people that have been on their path a long time, I guess it's a time of patience, when, whilst others maybe catch up, it's also definitely a case of turning the other cheek when, you know, you have people maybe coming at you saying, don't you know this, don't you know that? And it's something, as I say, that you've maybe delved into years ago, you've come to your own conclusions about, which you're very entitled to do so. But the newly awake will always come at you with, don't you know this, assuming that you don't. So the wise person tries to stay stumm and allow people their growth, whilst also working on themselves continuously, because that's what we all should be doing. We should all be doing the inner work. We should all be trying to carry on and evolve as much as we can. But we're all at different places on the path. We're all at different pages of the book. And actually what Metatron's saying is we've all got different books to read as well. That's why we came. He's saying Earth is not just the Earth School. It's like this big library. The Akashic records aren't just something floating out there in the ethers that you get a glimpse of from time to time, or you're able to access after you've died. The Akashic records are happening right now in this very moment. You're actually in the page. You are the page, is what he's saying. But we're assuming that everybody's reading the same book, everybody's on the same page, everybody wants to learn the same things, everybody wants to come and look at the same things, and it's just not the truth. It's just not the truth. I don't quite know how we navigate this, to be honest. I have to be honest with you, because one thing, this is my personal thing here that I'm just feeling at the moment, is when I turned 55, which was this year, I keep getting a very consistent message that my future lies in writing and being an author. And I'm wrestling with, how do I do that with maintaining a community, which I've very much enjoyed creating, being a part of, leading. I know many people benefit from being in the community pages that I've got here on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. And I've enjoyed that whole experience, but yet community seems to be becoming more and more fractured, more and more contentious. More and more people maybe, and this isn't just in terms of my pages or my channels, it's everywhere. And I think it's due to overwhelm, and it's due to the fact that, it's due to overwhelm, a lot of it. People just don't have the time to properly maybe read something or watch something. So they'll leap in with their own conclusions of what they think you're saying, not knowing what you might have said 2 months previously, 2 years previously, 2 decades previously. They judge you just on one particular post or one particular video. And I think this is why Metatron's leading me more towards publishing and writing and being an author, because books tend to stand the test of time. And in a book, you can put all of your ideas down. You're not constricted to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or as I've talked about on social media, the trend now for maybe just 2-minute videos or 1-minute video. I've actually tried to make a 1-minute video for YouTube, the shorts, and I did actually do it. And there was just something within me, guys. It's quite a good 1-minute excerpt from video that I've already done. It's quite good, but there's something in me that was just like, really, my heart was sinking as I was about to post it, because it's just not who I am. I'm somebody that's always wanted to research and dig deep and try to explain, and I like people, and I like to follow teachers that are articulate and eloquent, and even the authors that I've enjoyed in the past, fiction, the likes of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, D.H. Lawrence, they were my favourites, Scott Fitzgerald, you know, quite flowery language. That's who I am. It's a part of who I am. So to try and just put it down into a little bullet because that's all people want, it's very much what Tesla was saying in the video that I will release this week at some point. He was saying that a lot of us come, and he used the analogy of Doctor Who. So we come out of the TARDIS, we look out and we're like, oh my God, okay, it's 2022 and this is how people do things and this is what they want. But it's like, it's not who I am. It's not what it's just not what I am, because I'm coming from a different place. I'm maybe coming from a different dimension, a different frequency, a different time. And that might be the past, it might be the future, it might be the present, it might be all of it wrapped up in one. But I'm really struggling at the moment with trying to bring out material which honours my path and my soul. And I know a lot of people just want me to go back and do the stuff I've done in the past, but I'm definitely somebody that always wants to carry on exploring and doing new things. And there's a big part of me that I just wish I could just play by the rule book. And the rule book is, you do it this way and you say this type of thing and we put you into a box, and then everybody knows that you are this person and you talk about this and only this. And I just have always wanted to break out of the box, even if when I break out of the box there's nobody left on the other side wanting to even be there. I'm prepared to take it to that level. I don't think that will be the case, but it's just a real time of vulnerability for me, and I'm really trying to re-establish how I do things and where I do things. And even up to a few months ago, I was thinking of joining various platforms, and I now look at those platforms and I don't want to be on them. It just doesn't resonate. And it's like, well, where is the platform? Metatron said a while back, we just have to wait for the boat. We have to wait for the new boat. There is a new type of way of communicating coming. And he said, you just got to wait. But right now it feels literally like I'm off the raft. I'm clinging on by my fingertips. The crocodiles are circling. And as I say, I don't think this is just me. I think it's a lot of us at the moment. It's like, how do we do this? And it's so interesting living with somebody like my husband who's not on social media, because I tell him sometimes of some of the stuff that, you know, the attacks that I'm getting or the things that are being said, and his jaw is literally just dropping to the floor. He just can't understand it. He can't believe the levels to which people are going to, the things that are being said, without any form of backup or proof, or even if there was, you know, the lack of the, I mean, I don't like to use the word regulation, but actually to a degree society has to have some form of regulation. There has to be some form of responsibility with free speech, and that's a really difficult one, I know, to navigate, and I don't have the answers for it. I personally believe that some of the people, there's one particular person that was thrown off YouTube quite recently, and actually I guess I believe that she should still be there because of free speech, but a lot of what she was doing was so damaging and so ungrounded that I certainly didn't want to listen to it. But yet I just took myself off into a different space so I didn't have to. Maybe that's the answer. You know, we just have to grow as a species, whereby if someone's saying something, we just move to a different part of the room. The room is the world. We don't have to be part of that. John, my husband, he gave a good analogy today, because I had a bit of a moment, and he said it sounds like it's a bit like being in the pub. And it's a great analogy. He said, in a pub, you've always got the loudmouth in the corner, who's regaling people, or who's very opinionated and who just wants everybody else to hear what they have to say. And he says, usually you just move away from that person in the corner. It's the truth, isn't it? You just move away from that person in the corner, because it's like, oh my God, I don't want to hear all that crap. And that's what we have to do. So yeah, I thought that was a good analogy. I said, yeah, there's a lot of people in the corners of this pub at the moment. You know, the pub is social media, and they're playing to the crowd, and I just refuse to play to the crowd, and it makes me extremely unpopular a lot of the time. But you know, I can't do it any other way. I can't be who I'm not. So yeah, back to writing and authoring. I think that is a big part of my future, that I can consolidate and I can round off the teachings that I want to bring through in this lifetime and put them down. One of you very sweetly this morning was talking about the prayer that I put up with the Gethsemane picture yesterday. And I've obviously written a channel piece for that painting for the Oracle deck. But it's not that prayer. I just was feeling the energy of Gethsemane yesterday morning, and I meant every word of what I wrote. That's exactly how I was feeling, and I knew it was how a lot of you were feeling. And I wrote it in about 2 minutes, and I'm not bragging. It's just I have got a gift of being able to write. And somebody today said, oh gosh, where did you find that beautiful poem? Where, you know, who wrote that? And it was like, well, I wrote that. And then I actually wrote, I responded, I said, I am an author. And I realized as soon as I wrote those words, I am an author, it was like, yes, and so you become so. I mean, I already am. I've already got a published book, you know, with the Metatron deck, but it's more than that. It's work linked into the violet pill. It's bringing through information that I know I experienced as an Essene. I've always had a lifetime where I've basically tried to follow the teachings of Christ, and often I fail miserably. I can absolutely, you know, mess up just like the best person, but I always will try and get back on the horse, you know, because I know what the qualities are. And I have been thinking over the last few months that a lot of the stuff, the really nasty stuff that you see on social media, the attacks, the arguments, the aggressiveness with people, the triggering, and the teaching sometimes as well, I think a lot of it comes down to not having a basis in or grounding in a particular faith. And that might trigger some people, but I was brought up with the teachings of Christ, and I was brought up with his example of what he tried to be in this world. And I've had lifetime after lifetime where I've tried to serve that in different ways. And I look at some of the stuff that's written and I can't feel any of that groundedness in Christ. The teachings of humbleness, forgiveness, compassion, grace, humility, turning the other cheek, not being the first person to throw the stone, all of the things that Jane and I have tried to articulate and her illustrate in the new Christ Consciousness deck. And I think it's a really important deck that's going to be coming out next year. So I hope I'm making sense, but I'm just feeling as though some of what we're seeing on social media, it's a lack of groundedness in the tenets of old philosophies, old religion. Doesn't mean we have to be in old religion anymore. You know, I don't go to church or anything like that anymore. But I always say I left the church, but I never left Christ. And one of you that follows me, I know, is a Sikh, and you're the lady that bought the Sikh painting, the Langar painting that's in the Christ Consciousness deck. And thank you for your comment this week, because you also said something along the lines of what we were witnessing over the last week with regards to the vitriol, the anger, the abuse, etc., between people, the attack type energy, the dancing on people's grave type energy. It's as though there's no foundation, not just in something along the lines of the teachings of the great masters like Christ, but you were also bringing in the energy of Sikhism. But also I was shown in my mind's eye last week, you know, the great yogis, the Eastern yogis, Buddha, you know, these masters who always, all of them, basically it all boils down to love. It all boils down to trying to be love, to show love, to demonstrate love, and it comes in our words and our actions. And I just feel at the moment that social media per se is not a groundwork for any of these teachings of love. I mean, that's a bit of a sweeping statement, because of course there are great people out there doing great work who are getting their message out there. But right now I'm struggling to see quite how I do it and where I fit in. I'll fit in somewhere, but I'm going to carry on and I'm going to keep going. I've been on social media since 2012, so I'm not going to throw in the towel now. And I do feel as though I sort of edge very slowly, it has to be said, very slowly, up to 100k. But you know, that's the milestone that's coming up on my YouTube channel. I feel as though this is a big, I'm going through a big initiation and a big test at the moment. And there's almost like there's an energy of just throw in the towel, just throw it in. It's not worth it. Have a quieter life. You don't have to do this. But then you come back to soul contract, and actually I feel I do have to do this. So it's not just me, it's many people that work in the way that I do. But these soul contracts that we came to do and honour and finish are difficult. And I don't think I'd forgotten quite how difficult it was going to be, and quite how unpleasant it was going to be, and quite how personal it was going to start to be. But I thank all of you that are behind me, which I know is the majority. There's just a very noisy minority, the people in the corners of the pub, as my husband said, who are talking very loudly at the moment, and they're not voices of love. So we're just going to keep coming back to love, coming back to love, coming back to love. And I'm going to write more, and I'm going to somehow try and work out how we do community in a way that doesn't interfere too much with my life and my sanity. And I thank you for listening. I honour all paths. I honour wherever you are on your path. If you're just discovering certain truths, certain theories, that's great. But don't assume that older members of the tribe don't know, aren't aware. It's actually really insulting. But but forgiveness, good opportunity for forgiveness. Okay guys, I'm now going to go and do a shop, and I'm going to buy some food for my family and make a nice meal tonight. I will also say that my energy right now is a little bit deflated because I cannot tell you how exhausting these renovations have been over the summer. I had totally underestimated that as well. And, you know, it sounds very lovely having solar panels put on your roof. I mean, again, the symbolism of this, I must look at my astrology. It must be doing something at the moment, because they are literally drilling into the mortar. I mean, the house is like vibrating. It's horrendous. It's like that energy of nails going down a board. It's just going into my being. And I know it's all base chakra stuff. It's all Earth Star. It's all, where are you rooted? Where are you anchored? Where are you safe? In my house, there are many rooms. I'm talking about Christ here, okay? We've just got to find the right room in the house. And right now, there's a lot of rooms in the house, i.e. the world, which are really toxic, which are full of people that just want to throw rotten tomatoes, people that don't actually want to do the work. Metatron's making me laugh because he's trying to lighten it up a bit. He's just showing me these kids in a room, and they're ripping up the rule books, and they don't want to behave, and they don't want to learn the lessons. And it's just like, he says, just close the door on that. Close the door on that. And he's saying to me, oh, he's making me cry. He's saying to me, because it's so, the Metatron energy is so beautiful. He's saying to me, I will find you the perfect classroom. I will find you the perfect classroom. How perfect is that? Okay, so having heard that, I trust that. I say thank you, because the truth is, to do this work, you have to be able to channel the highest light and the frequency, which is the energy of love. You have to be this sensitive, because you can't do it otherwise. You can't do it if you're hard. You can't do it if you're closed. You can't do it if you don't care. Because the truth is, I actually care about those kids in the classroom that are ripping up the books and don't even want to learn. But that's not my stuff, that's their stuff. So Metatron's saying, I will find you a classroom. I will find you the place. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't realise I was going to cry. It's been a tough week. Thank you for your love. Okay, I'm going to sign off, pull myself together, and I'm going to go and buy some chocolate. Take care, guys. Bye.